Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. I've got a really fun flow planned for you that'll round out with a Savasana at the end. Now, for this flow, we will need a prop, a block, if you have one of the lighter foam blocks, or maybe a cardboard box that you've taped back together so that it is nice and light. Now, if that sounds good to you, go ahead and roll out your mat. Hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and we'll flow right into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Sending that right foot back. Now we will begin our practice today by laying on our mats, finding a corpse pose, a Savasana pose. Now finding a comfortable place in your body, whatever that means to you. You can be in any position that feels right. You can use as many props as feels right. But we'll take this time to come back into our bodies and to let the rest of the world drift away for a little while. Finding any little adjustments that you can make to be just a little bit more comfortable here in this position. We'll close the eyes or allow the vision to be a little soft around the edges. We'll notice the points of contact to the floor. And allow those areas to be soft, yet heavy, to be relaxed as they ground into the earth. We can wiggle our fingers or wiggle our toes. Maybe wiggle the lower jaw side to side, releasing out some tension in the neck and face. Or we can wiggle the shoulders slightly to help the body soften further. And then we'll bring our awareness to our center, to our chest, to our abdomen. We'll start to notice how our natural breath feels in the body. For the next little while, we'll allow our breath to be a little deeper, a little longer. Have you noticed that maybe you're breathing just from your chest? Can you draw the breath down low into the abdomen? Fill the belly with air before pressing it back out again. with our next in-breath, we'll circle the arms up towards the back of our space, up past our ears. And we'll reach with the fingertips. And we'll lengthen the legs and point and reach with the toes, moving to our full body stretch. Now with an exhale, we'll start to slide our elbows till they're in line with our shoulders, moving to our cactus pose. Our fingertips are still pointed to the back of our mat. We're pressing into the backs of the hands and into the elbows. If you're feeling a little stuck here, like you can only get one arm down at a time, or you can only get your elbows down, lift one shoulder off your mat. Work it in towards the other and settle back down. This will give you a slight back bend and may give you enough space to feel a little more accessible, to maybe feel a little more comfortable in this pose. Now we'll start to walk the bottoms of the feet in. And here we'll notice, have we lost our connection with our mat in our low back? If we have, we'll pick up the hips, tilt them forward, and set them back down. We want to be grounding into the earth with that low back. And then we can lift the legs up towards the sky. We'll flex the feet like we're stepping on the ceiling. And with our arms, they can stay where they are here in our cactus if you're finding a lovely stretch across the collarbones. We can take the hands up towards the ceiling as well, or we can use the hands to hold the legs up. Whatever is feeling most comfortable and most doable in your body today. Now we'll start to play around slightly, wiggling out, finding whatever shapes or movements are feeling right. If we have our hands up, we'll do the same with the fingers, with the wrists. We can circle the ankles. We can point and flex the feet. We can splay the toes, splay the fingertips out nice and wide, and then curl them into center. And then spread them out wide again. Finding any way to play around in this pose as we find a little bit of our reverse process. Now we will take our hands to the back of our left leg. Holding that left leg here where it is, we'll flex through the bottom of our foot. So our toes are pointed up towards the back of our mat, up towards our head. And it's like we can step onto the ceiling. With our right leg, we're going to take it out towards the right side of our mat. And then bring it back in towards the left. Flexing through both feet, moving the right foot out. Picking it up, bringing it in. And we'll do this a few more times on this side. Good. Now we'll move the hands from the back of our left leg to the front of our left shin, so we can squeeze the left leg in nice and close to the body as we extend our right leg all the way down and settle it to the earth. Nice big hug here to this left side. And then we'll guide our left knee across the right side of our body, across the right side of our mat for a gentle twist, pressing both shoulder blades into the earth. We can keep the eyes up towards the sky, or we can follow our left hand towards the side. Couple big breaths here to allow our breath to deepen the stretch. breathing into our left side body. And then we'll guide that left leg back in. Another big squeeze to the chest. And then we'll pick up our right leg, reach it up to the sky. We'll let go of our left leg, reach that up as well. Wrap the hands around the back of our right leg so we can hold it here in place. And then we'll lengthen our left leg out to our side. Pick it up, bring it back into center. We'll do the same thing on this side a few times. And then we'll reach that left foot back up. We'll wrap the hands around the front of our right shin as we bend the knee to hug knee to chest, extending our left leg all the way long and dropping it down to our mat. Nice big hug here. And then we'll find our supine twist on this side, guiding our right knee across the left side of our mat, extending the right arm out. We can keep our eyes up or follow our right hand as we bring our shoulder blades to the earth. We'll untwist, bring the right knee back in, another big hug. As we pick up our left leg, reach it up towards the sky, we'll lengthen our right leg out as well. Circle the ankles in one direction. We'll circle them around in the other. And then we'll bend both knees into the chest. Wrap the arms around the legs. We'll lift the chin to the chest and find a little ball so we can roll side to side. Roll forward and back. Massage out the spine. Now from here, we're going to make our way to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. So we can roll all the way onto one side, press the hands into the earth to bring us up, or we can rock and roll forward and back to pop us up onto our feet. Crossed legs, extend and come up to standing. We'll wiggle out here in our mountain pose. Bringing our feet under our knees, under our hips. We'll pick up the toes, spread them out nice and wide, and set them down to the earth. Lift the shoulders up to the ears. We'll work them back and down the spine, which will help us rotate the palms forward. We'll find a slight tuck to the pelvis, and we'll gently draw the chin in so we're in a line from our heels all the way up through the top of our head. Closing the eyes, or again letting the vision go soft around the edges. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Now gripping into our toes, we're gently pulling the toes in towards the center of our feet. And then we'll let them go soft. With an in-breath, we'll circle the arms up overhead. And with our out-breath, we'll move to our cactus pose. Elbows alongside the shoulders. We're drawing the shoulder blades in to kiss at the spine. Palms are forward. Chest is slightly lifted. With our next in-breath, we'll send the arms back up towards the sky. And with an exhale, we'll hinge from the waist and bow the chest all the way forward. Inhale to a halfway lift, bringing the hands to the shins. to the thighs, to a block, to the floor, wherever you need to find some engagement through the core, a slight squeeze to the glutes. We're lengthening forward through the top of our head. With our next exhale, we'll fold forward again. We'll take some time here in our forward fold to allow the body to soften and to remember that it is safe. Even when we put ourselves into weird shapes, it is okay. And we can relax and soften into these poses today. And we can grab for opposite elbows and find a sway side to side. Or we can keep the hands down long as we sway. We can rock forward onto our tippy toes, lifting our heels. Then we can drop our heels and lift our toes. We can find a slight bounce, or we can nod the head yes and shake the head no. Finding any variation that's feeling good. Now with our next in-breath, we'll move back to that halfway lift, drawing the core in, wrapping the ribs around. With our exhale, we'll fold forward again, nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. We'll do the same thing with the arms. We'll wiggle them out from the shoulders and allow the shoulders, the head, the neck to droop and be soft towards the earth. Now we'll start to add a little more bend to the knees. And then we'll start to round through our pelvis, tucking it forward. And we'll continue that rounding, that rolling motion all the way up our spine. Take your time here. The chin will be the very last thing we lift from our roll. And then we can send our shoulders up and roll them back a few times. We can wiggle or bounce out, finding some way to reset. And then we'll start to make our way to the top of our mat. With a big breath in, we'll send the arms up overhead. With our exhale, we'll move to our cactus pose. We can start to find a baby back bend by lifting the chest and by taking the eyes up the wall in front of us. With an inhale, we'll send the arms back up towards the sky. And with our exhale, we'll hinge from the waist, moving to our forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. This time we'll reverse swan dive the arms. Send them out to the sides, lift up from the chest. Hands go to the sky. Exhale to our cactus. Inhale to reach tall. Exhale to our forward fold, bowing. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll plant the hands down, stepping or hopping the feet back to our plank pose. We're gripping into the earth with the hands, and we'll shift a little further forward. Exhale, lowering all the way down to the mat. Untucking our toes. With an in-breath, we'll lift to a baby cobra. Exhale to soften. Tuck the toes under again. We'll press up onto our knees or press up to our push-up. And then we'll send the hips up and back behind for our down dog. Play around here in this pose. We can pedal out the legs. We can swivel the hips. And then we'll take the feet just a little further away from each other, adding more of a bend to the knees so we can really press through the hands and send the spine long, finding as much length through the back as we can. We'll start to walk the hands, one hand at a time, pausing, before walking them in towards the feet again. Walking the hands all the way in till they're at the back of our mat in our forward fold. With our next in-breath, we'll move to our halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward again. And with our inhale, we'll reverse swan dive the arms. Send them up to the sky, and we'll pause here. Moving our weight into our left foot, we'll pick up our right. We'll extend our right leg long out in front of the body. We'll bend through the left knee so we can drop our right heel down. Rock forward onto our right toes. Pick up our left leg, extend it out long. Drop the heel of the left foot. Rock forward, and then we'll pick up the right and step it down beside the left. Exhale to our cactus. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold again. We'll drop the hands down, pausing, because this time we'll move our weight into our left foot. So we can pick up our right, send it long behind the body, reach with the toes. And then we'll start to bend further in our left knee and slowly bring our right toes down to the mat. Runner's lunge here. We'll bring a full breath in and an even larger breath back out. And with our next in-breath, we'll press through the feet, lift the chest, send the arms up, and find our crescent lunge. Now, if you notice that you're finding a little bit of a back bend, especially in your low back, we'll tuck the pelvis forward and add more of a bend to our right knee to make this pose a little more comfortable. Now with our next exhale, we'll circle the arms down and all the way around the body. So we can grab for our hands, we can grab for our elbows or our forearms, whatever we're reaching back there. We can even just bring the backs of both hands to our low back. With our next in-breath, we'll lift the chest up. If our fingers are interlocked, we'll draw those shoulder blades in together to help us lift the chest. With our exhale, we'll hinge from the waist, moving to our humble warrior. Now we can keep our hands to our body, or we can send the hands up towards the ceiling, whichever is in your practice today. And then we'll let go of our bind, and we'll circle our right hand down towards the floor, out in front of the body. Pause as we extend our left arm back behind. And then with a big breath in, we'll lift the body as we circle our right hand all the way out and around, bringing it around so we're facing our right side of our mat. Pick up the left toes, bring them to the side mat. Lift the arms, star pose. And then we'll continue to pivot our right foot till we're reaching the back of our mat in our warrior two. Now that was kind of a big transition. Take some time to find your pose, to get comfortable here. We're rolling to the pinky side edge of our front foot. Keep our knees open. We're reaching forward and back. And with our next in-breath, we'll send our right hand up and over the body towards the back of the mat, which was before the front of the mat. We'll cartwheel the arm, moving to our extended side angle. Connect the right elbow, right knee. Reach the left hand up, straight over the shoulder, or hug it in towards our ear. And again, we'll pause. Now sending that left hand straight up again, reach towards the sky. We'll send it out towards the side of our mat and then down to the floor to help us bring our chest to the earth. We'll drop both hands to frame out our right foot. Pivot the back toes around. We'll find a little forward and back shifting motion to pop us up on our right foot. And we'll move to our standing splits here, lengthening the left toes up towards the sky. Or we can always bend at our left knee and reach the knee up to the sky if that is more comfortable. And then we'll lower that left leg and we'll drop it behind our right leg. Placing the foot fully down on the earth, we'll rock back slightly to press back through the hips. So both feet are firmly planted on the floor. Now a little bit of balance here. With an in-breath, we'll move to our halfway lift. Exhale to fold. With our inhale, we'll send the arms up overhead. As we lift up onto our toes, we're going to turn towards the right as we untwist the legs. Now picking up our right leg, we'll send it forward. Drop the heel down, shift forward. Pick up the left leg, send it forward. Drop it down, shift forward. Pick up the right and set it down beside the left. Now wiggle out. That was wonderful. And then when you're feeling ready, we'll make our way to the top of the mat again for our other side. With an in-breath, send the arms up overhead. Exhale to our cactus, optional baby back bend. Inhale to lengthen tall. Exhale to hinge and bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands down, pause. We'll move our weight into our right foot. So we can pick up our left, lengthen it back behind the body. We'll add a little bit more of a bend to our right as we lower our left toes down. A full breath in. And an even larger breath back out. With our next in-breath, we'll lift up into that crescent lunge. Slight bend to the left, big bend in the right. Hips are towards the top of our mat. And the hands are up. With our exhale, we'll circle the hands down and around. Finding the hands, finding the low back, finding wherever we can reach. With an in-breath, we'll lift the chest and the eyes up. And with our exhale, we'll move to that humble warrior, bowing the chest forward. Again, option to keep the hands at the low back. We're pulling the shoulder blades back and in together. We're drawing the fronts of the shoulder blades up and away from the mat. We'll undo our binds. Circle our left hand down towards the floor. Reach it out in front of the body. Lift to the right hand, reach it back behind the body. And here comes our big twisting motion. We'll keep lifting through the left hand as we lengthen out through the right leg, bringing us to the left side of our mat for our star pose. And then we'll keep moving to the back of the mat, pick up the left toes, pivot them around, and we'll find our warrior two on this side. Again, take your time. Find your pose. Get comfy here. With our in-breath, we'll send our left hand up and over the body. With our exhale, we'll cartwheel the arm, moving to our extended side angle. We'll pause here. We can have our left hand connected to our left knee and our right hand up towards the sky. We can even lower our left hand down towards the floor. Now, whichever variation we're in, we'll send that right hand straight up again. And then we'll reach it out towards our right side to help us bring the chest all the way down towards the floor so we can frame out our left foot with the hands, lifting the right heel so we can bring it around onto the toes. We can find a forward and back shifting motion until we can pick up our right leg and move to our standing splits. Now we'll start to lower our right leg down and drop the foot to the outside behind our right foot so our legs are crossed. We'll send the hips back so we can bring both feet firmly to the floor. With our in-breath, we'll move to our halfway lift. Exhale to fold. With our inhale, we'll reach the arms up to the sky. As we lift onto our tippy toes, we'll turn towards our left to uncross the legs. We'll move our weight into our right foot, pick up the left leg, reach it long out in front. Bring the heel down, shift forward onto the toes. Pick up the right, send it forward. Drop the heel down. Rock forward and bring the left down again. Now we'll wiggle out. Take a moment to reset. And we're going to do a similar flow. It's got most of the same parts, except the ending's a little bit different. Again, on each side. But this time we're going to move more with the breath. So we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit. So coming to the top of your mat in your mountain pose. With a big breath in, we'll send the arms up. Exhale to our cactus. Inhale to reach tall. Exhale for our fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Move your weight into your left. Inhale to lengthen our right. Exhale to drop the toes. Inhale, crescent lunge. Reach the arms up. Exhale to circle the hands around the body, interlocking. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to fold. We'll take a full in and out breath here. With our next exhale, we'll drop our right hand down. Inhale to lift and reach with both hands. Full breath out. And our in breath will start to lift us back up, moving through our star pose. Exhale to our warrior two at the back of the mat. Inhale, send the right hand up and over the body. Exhale to reverse side angle pose. Inhale to lift us back up to our warrior two. Exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands, frame out our right foot. Inhale, we'll send our right leg up and back behind, three-legged dog. Now we're kind of going to let go of our breath because we'll take our time moving to our next movement, to our next pose. From here, we're going to move to our standing splits. So we're going to start walking the hands in towards the feet. Now, if you cannot lift your hands, bring that right foot to connect to the left heel. And we'll start to slide or walk the hands in towards the body. And find standing splits. With an exhale, we'll drop our right foot down behind the left foot, cross-legged forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive the arms. Lift onto the toes, circle all the way around, and we're at the top of our mat. Wiggle it out. And we'll do that for the other side. With an in-breath, send the hands up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands down. Inhale to lengthen our left leg back. Exhale, drop the toes. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale to find our bind. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Full in and out. Exhale to reach the left hand forward. Inhale to lift and reach. And with our next in-breath, we'll lift the body back up. Pivot through our side mat for a inhale to star. Exhale to the back of our mat for our warrior two. Inhale to reach up and over the body. Exhale to cartwheel for our side angle. Inhale back to our neutral warrior two. Exhale to cartwheel down to the floor, pivot around, runner's lunge. Inhale, we'll send our left leg up and back, three-legged dog. And again, we'll take however long it takes to get us to our standing forward fold, walking the hands in towards the feet. Again, we can always connect our left foot to our right heel. And then we'll bring that left foot down behind the right. Press back through the hips. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive the arms. Pick us up. We'll lift onto the toes, circle towards the right. And back at the top we are. Tadasana, mountain pose. Good job. Wiggle it out. Take a breath. With an in-breath, we'll send the arms back up. Skipping our cactus with our exhale, we'll just bow straight forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Drop the hands. We'll step, hop, or float back to our plank. Shifting forward. Exhale, chaturanga to the floor. Inhale to a cobra. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Press into the hands. We'll lift onto the knees. And then curl through the spine as we press the hips back towards the heels. We'll find a child's pose from here. So it is up to you if you'd like your legs together, or if you would like to take a little more space between your knees, you can walk them out and lower the chest, the abdomen between the legs instead. We'll take a few breaths here. Allowing the body to soften, the breath to slow. And we'll start to round a little further through the spine. Now we'll start to press into the hands to lift us up to our tabletop pose. We'll bring the knees in if we took them out a little further. Spreading the fingertips out nice and wide. We want our middle finger almost pointed straight in front of the body. So instead of our ring finger being forward, we're bringing the outside of our arms in slightly to find some engagement up the backs of the arms and our triceps. We'll tuck the toes under, and we'll move to our floating tabletop from here. Gripping into the fingers, grip with the toes. We'll lift the knees to hover over the mat. Drawing the core in and up, we want our back to be nice and flat, like a table. We'll hold here for a few breaths. And then we'll take our knees out wider as we lower them down towards the floor. Bringing the toes into touch or to point at each other, we'll slide our left hand directly underneath of our chest. With a big breath in, we'll send our right arm up. Now we're bringing our thumb in towards the center of our hand and wrapping our fingers around it. So we're forming a fist, and we'll circle the wrist out in one direction, and then around in the other. We'll free our thumb from our hand, and with our exhale, we'll reach our right hand as far to the left as we can before we lower our shoulder and side of face for our needle. We'll bring our left hand in beside our face, press into the earth, help us unthread our right, send the right hand up, and then we'll bring it down. Take a little bit of time to reset. A full in and out breath cycle, and then we'll scoot our right hand underneath of our chest. With an in breath, we'll send the left arm up. Bring the thumb in towards the center, wrap the hands around. We'll circle the wrist out in one direction, and then around in the other. Freeing the thumb. With our exhale, we'll thread our left hand through to our right side. Bring the shoulder and side of face down. We'll bring that right hand beside the face, press into the mat, unthread the left arm, and we'll bring it down. Now moving back to our tabletop, this time with our knees on the earth. We'll bring our hips over top of our knees, our shoulders over top of our wrists. Again, we're gripping through our fingertips to help take some of the pressure out of the wrists, to find some engagement through the rest of our muscles. With an in breath, we'll shine our chest forward as we roll our hips back, take the eyes forward or up. With our exhale, we'll curl in towards center so we can arch up through the spine. And we'll move back and forth with our cat-cows. And we can add as much movement here as feels right. With our in-breath, we can shift all the way forward to almost a cobra or an up dog. And with our exhale, we can press back almost to a child's pose. Or we can add any other movements. We can wiggle out the hips or anything else that's feeling right. And then we'll come back to our tabletop again, nice flat back. We'll lengthen our left leg back behind the body, flexing through the foot so the toes are down to the earth. Now we're going to extend our left leg out towards the left side of our mat and bring it back in behind the body. Kind of like we did with our warm-up, reaching it out and bringing it back in. Now we can do this here with just our leg, or we can pick up our right hand and do the same, but opposite, sending it out to our side, sweeping it back in line with the body, sweeping it out to the side, and back in. We'll do a few more on this side. And then we'll bring our right hand down and our left knee in. And we'll wiggle to reset. We can find a child's pose. We can find some more cat-cows. We can bring our hands in closer to the body and flip the tops of the hands down. And gently draw the hands back, the body back, to stretch out the tops of our forearms. Whatever you need to reset before we move on to our other side. Back to our tabletop. We'll extend our right leg behind the body, flex the foot, toes are down. We'll sweep that right leg towards the right side of our mat and back in line with the body. Out to the side and back in. Again, we can do just the leg, just one side at a time. Or we can also pick up our left hand and sweep both arm and leg out to our side. And then bring them back in line with our mat. We'll do a few more on this side. And we'll bring our left hand in, bring the right knee down. And again, we can curl back for a child's pose. With our in-breath, we'll start to lift the body back up. And we'll move around on our mat so we are seated with our legs out in front of us. We'll scoot to the middle of our mat. And then we'll give our legs a nice bounce in, a nice wiggling out. Now we will need our prop for the next little while. If you've done my classes before, you know I have a heavy set of blocks that are cork, and then I have this lighter set of blocks that are foam. So for this one, I highly recommend, and I will be using my lighter set of blocks. If you do not have a block, you could use a light book, or you can use a cardboard box that you've retaped the top closed so it is a block shape. Now, we can use that for our next movement, our next pose, for staff pose, or we don't need it for this one. It just adds an additional element of shoulders. And if your shoulders are not quite that warmed up yet, don't use a block, don't use a prop. We'll reach our toes up towards the sky. So we're engaging all the way up the legs. The kneecaps will gently pull in. You'll start to feel the fronts of your hips, your hip flexors. We'll sit up a little bit taller on our sit bones. And we'll send the arms up towards the sky. Now here's where that block comes in. You can put the block between your palms and lift it up overhead. If your shoulders are talking to you, leave the block out, or even drop your fingertips to your shoulders instead. Any of those are great options, and we're still getting a lot of strength building through the back body and through the core containment system. Now we're sitting up nice and tall, reaching tall with the toes, with the top of the head, shining the chest forward. We can even press into the block or our prop a little bit if you would like. And at the end of each exhale, or when you start to notice your posture is softening, reset, reach tall, lift forward. Go for a few more breaths. And exhale, let it go. Set the block down. We'll take it off to our side for a little bit. We'll bring the hands down behind the body and find a counter posture by walking or crawling the fingertips away from the body. Now, with a big breath in, we'll draw the shoulders in and back. Lift the chest and send the eyes up the wall in front of you. And we'll take a few deep breaths here in our chest opener pose. Our next exhale will start to soften through the abdomen. We'll curl the shoulders forward to walk us back in. We'll slide the bottoms of the feet in towards the body. And you know what time it is. We'll move to our boat pose, shifting the upper body back. We're again still reaching long with our spine. We want that beautiful posture that we found in our staff pose. As we start to lift our feet up off the mat. Now we can bring our shins parallel to our floor. We can extend the legs fully long, or we can even keep our big toes down as our kickstands. Long spine, reach back. And we'll take a few deep breaths here, getting out any extra wigglies that we have. We're almost to the end of our practice. And we'll start to extend out a little further and a little further until we find our mat in a full body stretch. Reach the arms up overhead. Point and extend the feet off the top of our mat. We'll circle our arms down and around back towards our body. And we'll need our block for one more last fun thing. We've kind of been building up to it all practice, and you'll see it. We'll walk the bottoms of our feet in. Again, noticing, have we lost integrity of our low back? Are we not connected to the earth? If so, lift your hips, tuck them forward, and settle them back down. We want to be grounded here so we can press into our low back as we engage our core. Now we'll send our right leg up towards the ceiling, flexing our foot. And then we'll bend through the right leg. And we're actually going to set our block, our prop on top of our foot. Now you see why I wanted you to have a light prop for this, so that if it does come crashing down, at least it'll be gentle and not a heavy cork block. Now, this may be enough for you here, and that's great. You can just focus on lifting that leg up tall, gently drawing it into the body so that we can balance that block or our prop. Or we can add the element of reaching our left leg up as well. Also, great. Feeling my core, feeling my quads. Or we can send the hands up as well. Or we can add our final element of reaching our left leg and right arm out to our side, and then bringing it in towards center. We did this motion in our tabletop pose. Draw back in, slightly different, but same idea. Opposite arm and leg, moving out, coming back in. We'll do a few more. And back in towards center, and drop the left foot down. And we'll gently and carefully bend the right leg and bring that block back down to the earth. Now resetting. We can heel toe the feet out and find some windshield wipering. That might feel good, that big stretch along the IT band. But doing whatever feels good, wiggling out in a way that your body is asking for. And then we'll do the other side. Heel toeing the feet back in, pressing into the low spine. We'll lift our left leg up towards the sky. Connect the block with the foot. You may notice that your left side is a lot harder to balance. If it is, that's okay. So is mine. So you might want to take one of the other variations that I said before on this side instead. Now we can reach the right foot up. We can reach the hands up. And this time we would extend our right leg out to the side, the left arm out, and draw them back in. Focusing on our block, on our foot. I know it's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. It really makes your brain think. But that's good, because I like core where we're not thinking about it being core, and they were just thinking about it being fun or challenging. All right, set the right foot down. Bring the left leg in, drop the block down and away. And we can take a little bit of time to reset, do a counter stretch. We can do the windshield wipering that we did before. Or maybe this time you'd like to do a figure 4, reaching in and bringing the legs closer to the body. Or whatever other stretch your body is asking for to help it soften and relax after that challenge. If you do a figure 4 on one side, you'd like to do it on the other as well. And then we'll start to make our way to our Savasana. If you're not quite ready to move on yet, you can always pause the video, finish out whatever final movements, postures, or stretches you're wanting before your relaxation. Or we can start to move to that corpse pose, that comfortable space to let the world drift away for a while. That peaceful space to give your body the rest that it needs and deserves after all that movement. Space to let all of that goodness that we just did really soak into the body, so we can carry with it that ease of moving with our breath throughout the rest of our day. Now we'll close the eyes or allow the vision to be soft, to let the world drift away for a little while longer. Doing any little thing we need to be just a little more comfortable. We'll bring our attention back to our breath again. Maybe noticing if the breath is cold to the nose, to the lip as we breathe it in. Maybe wherever you are, it feels hot. It feels a little muggy. And then breathing out and maybe noticing how it tickles the upper lip, how the chest and abdomen fall and soften to the earth as we let the breath go. Before we start fresh with a new breath in, we'll take some time here just to focus on the comforting rhythm of our breath. You can continue to notice how we have the natural feelings that arise or you notice in your body with the breath. As we allow our exhales to be a little longer or twice as long as our inhales. Fully letting go of the breath before we start fresh. Or if your mind likes to wander, if you got some stuff you're thinking about, you can always bring your attention to a count to help you stay in the moment with your breath. To do so, you would breathe in for a count of 3 or 4. And exhale for a count of 6 or 8. Finding what works for you. Just be here with your breath for a little while. Now start to bring another large breath in through the nose. Let it go as an open mouth sigh. Starting to come back into our bodies. And add gentle movements, like wiggling our fingers. We can wiggle our toes. We can even scoosh up our face in towards our nose. And then we'll start to find a little bit bigger of movements. And maybe we'll roll onto one side or the other as we take our moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time out of your busy day, your busy week, to refocus your energy, to move with your breath, and to allow yourself this hour, this time, to be fully in your body and to find a little bit of peace and quiet. Now you can give yourself a nice big mental or physical hug. And you can make your way up to a seated position, or you can pause the video here and stay a little bit longer. Now we'll close the eyes one last time as we bring our hands in to a prayer position at the chest, or as we leave the hands open, palms up towards the ceiling on our knees. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy.